Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. If you have a question for Coach, please raise your hand. Jen.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
I guess first of all, just how was practice today? What was kind of the approach after the other night?
It was good. I mean, we watched film a little bit of the other night, and we watched film on New York. We showed them a lot of positive things for the other night. You know, as I said after the game, I mean, I was, frustrated by a couple things, and it was more in how we handled, ourselves 2 games into the season when things aren't going well. We did a lot of good things defensively. That's probably the best we've played against Griner in years. I thought we did a reasonably good job on Taurasi, but we aren't making shots. So, we showed them how well our offense is moving the ball and how, open the shots are that we got. And, you have to live with that right now. But that part of it was good. We showed them the good defense, and, we had to correct a few things in our rebounding. My biggest concern, which I didn't say to you guys the other night, is that, we're a work in progress, and, the players have to understand that a little bit. They can't have that look in their eyes at a timeout in the third or fourth quarter of like, oh my God, what's happening to us? This is too early to have that. And, we have a mixture of veterans and youth and different experiences and different teams, and we're new and introducing ourselves to each other in a lot of ways. And that was the part that I wanted to address with the team the other night. And, we talked about that today, and we had a terrific practice, and hopefully it'll carry over.
And Tina mentioned post game that, in her opinion, the defense in practice maybe hasn't quite been tough enough. Do you agree with that, or do you have a different take?
I have a different take, because Tina's take of what happened in the game, even with Griner stuff, I think there's times we have to compete harder against each other. I think that will make our defense in practice, particularly when we're defending our sets, we have to make it tougher on each of our own players. I think she's correct in that regard, that we have to make it more game-like in the field. I mean, we can't have the pressure that we feel in the game be that much stronger than what we see in practice. But I think overall, our defensive concepts have been pretty good. I was more concerned about finishing plays with blockouts and rebounding. I think, sometimes after a game, it's why I try not to say too much after a game, because I want to go back and watch the film and see if what I think is happening really happened. And I think sometimes players do the same things.
And then last question for me, we've seen Elena pulling people aside on the bench during games a little bit and seeming pretty involved, but just curious to get your take. Obviously, it would be better to have her in the game, but what kind of presence has she provided on the bench, and Alicia Clark as well while they're injured?
They've been good. I mean, their voices have been important. They've had good things to say. Both of them were at practice today, vocal, pointing out different things. You got 2 experienced winning players, and I think that helps. I'd like to translate to have them, be on the court doing that, but you're right. I mean, it is helpful.
Thank you.
Kareem.
Hey, Mike. I was a couple seconds behind, so apologies if this was asked. You mentioned Ariel Atkins the other day. How do you guys get her going a little bit more?
Well, she got 17 shots. I mean, the ball's just got to go in. She got good looks. It's going to be a positive mindset. I think all it takes is 1 game to start making a couple in a row, and you start feeling better about things. There's no magic formulas. You get in the gym and try to keep your rhythm and shoot the ball. I mean, she shoots before or after practice every day. She's been shooting the ball well in practice. Sooner or later, it's going to go in a game. I told the same thing to Leilani. They're historically good shooters, so it didn't all of a sudden, disappear from their game.
Are they both in good mental mind spaces? Again, I don't expect anyone to be in a bad spot after 2 games.
I think they are now. I mean, I think they're frustrated during the game. You start muttering to yourself. You want to make shots. I feel like, sometimes you put pressure on yourself that you're letting down your team. We're in it for the long haul. I told both of them, I have faith in them. So why would I even worry about that? They just got to, keep the rhythm and keep the faith.
Ooh, Do you know if Aisha will be available? Did you make that decision?
She's not available for this game.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm thinking ahead for Sunday.
Oh, I would hope so. I mean, that's the plan.
Mhm. Thank you.
Christy?
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good.
With Sabrina, how do you foresee containing the things that she likes to do? I mean, she's coming off of a triple double, and you didn't face her last year as a rookie because she was injured. So what kinds of schemes are you looking to try against her tomorrow?
I'm not telling anybody what scheme.
Darn it. I thought I would try. But what does she bring to the table? What kind of challenges does she present as a player?
Well, I mean, you're talking about somebody who, is the total package offensively, and that, obviously she's a really good shooter. She has great court vision and game sense. I mean, she sees where openings are. She knows how, better than a lot of guards already in our league, to make those little pick and roll pocket passes, or, reads how people are being played. And then, she goes and gets rebounds. I mean, she's just tough. The rebounding is not something that we're going to control. She's a great defensive rebounder, much like Russell Westbrook is for the Wizards. But we have to try to force her out of comfort zone areas. You're not going to take away everything from somebody, but you want to take their most favorite things to do away. So, that's what you have to do. Give her a couple different looks, put physical matchups on her, and make it as tough as possible. You're not going to completely stop her, but I think you can make her do things that she's a little bit more uncomfortable with.
Right. And just to follow up with that, with Laney being the leading scorer of the team, even with all that being said about Sabrina, Laney is really playing efficiently well for New York right now.
Yeah, she's been terrific.
Right. And I mean, what do you see in the challenge that she poses to the team as well?
Well, she's a physical wing player, and it's almost like playing, I don't like comparing to NBA guys very often, but the physicality that she plays with, but you add her ball handling, shooting into it, is a lot like the style of play that Kawhi Leonard plays with. That bulky, strong, but quick wing player.
Right.
That can go down and post up smaller people, can step out and go by bigger people. That's right now in a groove shooting the three. I think she's shooting over 50% from three.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just been as good. She's been, in my mind, watching all the games. I've looked at her as she's playing the best of anybody in the league. And to your point, it's hard to say that with the way Sabrina's playing. But Laney has won, I think, in all aspects, has made their team go in many ways.
Thank you.
Kareem?
I do have just one more. I was just curious. Do you think about, and I don't know if it's even necessary or you bother thinking about it in this way, last year, you guys started off so hot, had those, I think it was like 3-0 start. And a lot of the times you kept talking to us about, yeah, this is a hot start, but, we'll probably come back to the grain a little bit. And it's like the flip side a little bit this year. Is that almost an example of, hey, regardless of whether you start really well or whether you struggle in the beginning, these early games really don't dictate or facilitate what's going to be happening, throughout the rest of the season?
I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, we've played, 2 games. We got 30 more to play. And we've played 2 of the better teams who are at close to full strength. That makes a big difference. I mean, both people are talking about, Chicago and Phoenix as being amongst the favorites. We competed with them. We didn't make shots against them, but, we didn't, I don't think we embarrassed ourselves on the defensive end. They scored some points, but a lot of those points were because of our, lack of blocking out or turnovers or those kinds of things. We need to get a rhythm on offense, and it will look a whole lot different. And, we've got time in front of us. We've got, people that will be added to the team. Maisha will give us a big boost, but, there's games out there in front of us that we can go win.
Perfect. Thank you.
Christy, did you have another question?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I think that's it then, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, Kareem?
Hey, what's up, Ariel? How you doing?
How's it going? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Just want to look back, obviously this starts, I'm just curious, how are you feeling about yourself? I know you'd like shots to go down a little bit more, but in general, how do you feel about yourself, your game and this 2-game start?
Yeah, definitely. I would love for my shot to fall. It's kind of one of my things. So eventually that'll happen. I'm not worried about it. I don't need to try too hard though. I think that's where I kind of got into it playing against Phoenix. I started trying too hard and then my balance was going everywhere. And it didn't make out for a great finish, really. But I do know that I need to be more aggressive. But just finding the game, letting it flow, letting it come to me, not trying to force anything. But then just get us as a team in more of a flow, more energetic, and staying positive about what we're doing. There were some great moments in that game.
Mike was just saying a minute ago, basically that he's not tripping and he wants y'all not to either.
Yeah.
Said, there's times in the game where, you guys get frustrated and he doesn't want you guys, and because he knows, hey, y'all can shoot, shots are going to eventually fall. How do you balance that between, being in the game and, you're busting your tail trying to do everything. And even though things aren't necessarily working out now, but understanding the big picture that, hey, we'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no balance to it. You just got to understand, like you said, that there's a bigger picture. And at the end of the day, statistically, shots have to fall at some point. So,
That's the truth.
yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Mhm.
Christy?
Hey, Ariel,
Hey.
with like what you just said about how you were trying too hard in that game against Phoenix with getting the ball to fall through the hoop, but have you had experiences like that before in your career, and what kinds of things did you do to work through that in the past?
Definitely. I want to say around my second year, I just had a tough time like seeing the ball go through the hoop. And unfortunately, it was kind of around playoff time, which was tough. But again, it's the year that we won the championship. So things always come around, as a basketball player, and especially as a shooter, you got to have short-term memory. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to stop shooting.
That's right. That's right. And with New York, just a couple of specific things you want to see from your team tomorrow.
Patience. I want to see patience. I think they're a high energetic team that can kind of get you riled up as far as their energy and everything they can do. They have super athletic players. I would love to see patience and poise tomorrow.
Thank you.
Jen?
Hey, Ariel. I know that shots weren't falling the other night, but still you hit 1,000 career points and Tina hit 6,000. Have you had a chance to reflect over the past few days on what your accomplishment means, or, if you don't want to talk about you, what Tina's accomplishment means as well?
Yeah. I mean, I'll start with her. She's one of the OGs of our league in a sense, well, in my personal opinion, because I'm younger. But she's been in this league for a minute, and to have her hit 6,000 points. And I remember her saying something about she actually hit another milestone, but at the time, Coach T was coaching her as well. So I would like to really think that Coach T is good for her and for everybody else around here. But super happy for her and what she's been able to bring. The fact that she's still able to do what she does, even though she's been in this league for a while. And then a testament to me, my teammates find me. I feel like my first few years, my teammates were finding me on those backsides, trying to knock down those open shots. And now that I'm in a different role, I do have to take it up a notch. I'm excited about hitting 1,000 points, but I also know I have a long way to go.
And then I know Tina Thompson was at the game the other night. I know she's surprised you in the past. Did you know she was coming, and did she give you any advice either before or after the game?
Yeah, I knew she was coming this time, her and Dill. And any advice, I mean, she gives me advice all the time. So there's not like one thing I can pinpoint. If I'm asking for it, she'll give it to me. But definitely the whole, shoot or shoot thing is something that we talked about. And then just stepping up and being the leader and not stepping back and being passive.
Awesome. And then just quickly, you mentioned Coach T as it relates to Tina's career. And, I'm thinking back to there was a survey in the preseason of the GMs around the league, and they said that they voted Coach T as the best coach. And obviously, you've been in Washington your whole career, so it's not like I can ask you to compare him to other coaches. But for you, what stands out about him?
His ability to forget, and not in the like, oh, I don't remember what I'm doing way, but in the you messed up, I'm angry at you. 2 seconds later, all right, let's go. Like I love that about him, that he has short-term memory when it comes to correcting things, or if you do something good, he holds on to that versus if you do something bad, he doesn't hold on to that. He's always on to the next thing. And that's super helpful as a young player because you know that like, okay, I can mess up, but at the end of the day, it's all about the next play, trying to get back on defense or making sure that I execute this time down the floor. So that's something that I love of having in a coach, and I'm grateful to be coached by him.
Thank you.
Yep.
Kareem.
I did have one more, I feel like we're talking so much about, the offense and the shots not falling and things like that. But I'm curious, what have you liked so far? What's been, one of the biggest things that you guys think you guys are doing really well so far through these first 2 games?
I mean, we're getting the shots. They're open shots. They're not like, we're not shooting over 7. Well, not 7. We're not shooting over 3 and 4 people. We're not shooting a ton of contested jumpers. So we're getting the open shots. We're getting the looks that we want to get. And we have really good moments defensively as well, where we're communicating early, we're boxing out, or, we're pushing the ball up the floor. We've had really great moments, and we just have to string together more consistent great moments.
Cool. Thank you. That's all for me. Quick and easy.
I think that's it. Thank you, Ariel.
Thank you.
Well, if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand and we'll get started. Jen.
Hey, Shavante.
Hi.
I wanted to start out by asking you about Tina. You guys have played together for so long. I'm curious both if you want to comment on her hitting 6,000 points, but I'm also curious to hear from you. I'm curious what she's like as a leader and how she leads the team in your experience.
First of all, she sucked as a leader. No, I'm just playing. No, as far as her scoring 6,000 points, I mean, what a huge accomplishment. Sometimes you come into this league just being excited of even being in the league, but to add a milestone like that with 6,000 points is huge. So I'm proud of her for that. And as far as her being a leader, it's great. I think sometimes she put a little bit of pressure on herself to the point you have to tell her to relax. Everything is going to be okay, but that comes, with it, with our job, especially being like one of the go-to players. But her leadership has been great. She's actually, it's been great to see the transformation she made from me playing with her in New York to here in DC.
Is it going to be special or interesting or insert adjective of choice for you guys to have New York coming in?
Woo, oh no, I think we both excited to play New York. I told her she needed to have a career high against New York. So we're both really looking forward to the game.
That's awesome. And then one more quick question. We've been kind of watching how Elena and Alicia Clark have been on the bench while they're injured, and they both seem pretty engaged and pretty hyped, but curious to hear from you, what are they like on the bench and what kind of presence have they brought?
They're a huge presence to have EDD and AC on the bench just to help us, especially in those moments when we're struggling a little bit on the offense and defensive end. I think it's a plus when you have AC, someone who loves defense, somebody who focus in on the defense, just to help us defensively when we're not in our positions. She's been huge just to be there and talking, as well as EDD, just being vocal. I think sometimes we, like I said, not only Tina, but a lot of us put pressures on ourselves to be better. But just to have them in our ears, especially if you mess up on the play offensively or defensively, just to tell us to relax, let that play go, on to the next play and get it back. It's been huge for all of us.
Thank you, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Kareem.
Hey, Shavante, how are you?
Good, how are you? I see all those sneaker boxes back there. What you got back there?
I got a small problem. That's what I got back here. You should see the other rooms. There's stuff all over the place.
Man, I need to come to your crib then.
I'm trying to get a Nike deal.
I don't know about Nike, but I can help you out with Adidas, you know?
Hey, I got some of them. I got some of them back there too. I'm trying to get any kind of deal. Maybe that's the way I should put it.
Any deal is a good deal.
Any deal is a good deal.
Right.
You actually just mentioned something I wanted to ask a little bit about. You were kind of talking about putting pressure on yourselves. And Mike a minute ago said, that he's kind of talked to you guys after the game and in practice about not getting frustrated in games. And I'm curious about that. Like, how do you strike that balance? Like, everybody kind of knows, shots will eventually fall. This isn't who you guys ultimately are going to be, but it's still a little bit frustrating in the moment. So how do you balance that out with not letting it be too big in the moment and too big in games, but understanding, hey, we've got a long road to go before we get to where we want to be?
It is extremely hard and difficult, especially when when you're put in certain situations that you could be better at. But I think, having a great leadership in Coach T, along with, like I said, having EDD and Alicia on the bench to help us get through those frustrating moments. It helps us all as a team. Like you said, our shots is gonna fall, but one thing we can take care of is our effort and energy. And I think we're doing a good job of doing that. But having, great leaders can help you get through those tough moments. Like we said, it is early, but sometimes you can't get caught up thinking it's like close to the end of the season, because it's games that you put yourself in a position to win, and somehow, some way it just kind of all fall apart. But I think as long as we stay together as well in those moments, because when you have those moments, like we've had 2 games where we could have won, individuals start going their own separate ways. You hear a lot of chatter and things like that. But I think the one thing that you can control and what you can do is stay together as a team. And as a team, we all could get over the hump.
What have you liked so far? I mean, we talk a lot about the things that haven't gone well, but what are some of the things that you guys are doing well that you guys have done well so far?
Our defense has been great. I think right now we're just struggling somewhat on the offensive end and just having our shots fall. But we know eventually they'll fall, and they're not bad shots. We're having shots where it's open looks. But I think for the most part, our defense have been, on point, on tack with the schemes and the things that we want to do here in DC.
Boom, that's perfect. All for me. Appreciate it.
See you. Put some of those shoes up.
Oh yeah. I'll have something out at the game. I always got something for y'all at the game.
All right.
I don't get to see no more. That's the problem with Zoom.
I know, right?
Nobody gets to see the fire.
Exactly.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. See you, Kareem.
Any other questions for Shvante? I think that's it then. Thank you.
Thank you.